Okay, if we look at the IBOP Willy, in the Netherlands it's normal you first do the dressage test and they're in there alone. We now do it in a 2060 arena because especially with the young horses, and sometimes you still need a little bit the speed, and then it's better when it's bigger. And we can see now already if they're looking a bit, you won't get into the corners and the arena gets smaller and smaller. So we said, okay, give them some bit more place so they can come around, maybe cut the corners a bit, because in the end, that's not all about the quality. After they've done the test, they will come back and they will present themselves again and we will ask some things. And the test is the same for every horse, no matter if it's 3 or 20. I had a 20-year-old in the IBOP. I don't really know if it's still about an estimated guess how it is, but they do the same test. And then in the second part, we ask some different things according to the age. So a 4-year-old would do leg yielding, a 5-year-old and older would also do shoulder in. But in the end, it's not about the exercise, because that 5 or 6-year-old can have the same experience under the saddle as the 3-year-old. It could have been a breeding mare for a couple of years. But it is for us to see how they respond on the age, how they answer the question, and how they go with the balance and the rhythm if we need to change the body a little bit. In the States we do it a little bit different, Willy. Maybe you can tell something about the second part.
Yeah, the second part is then a little bit depending on age, yeah, but the main thing is, yeah, in a horse, in a dressage horse, and it's all about the future of the horse and how easy the horse to ride is. It's a horse that's balanced, and a horse that carries himself, and the horse is forward thinking. Yeah, a horse needs to be self-motivated, and those are traits that you see already at a very young age. Yeah, and that's important, yeah, for a horse. It's not all about the biggest mover. Yeah, we all know you want the best mover. The best mover is not always the biggest mover, and especially, yeah, when you go higher up, then yeah, it is the horse that has the ability to want to do it, and it has to be a horse that has the ability to collect. Yeah, and when the horse has those abilities, then you can train. Yeah, and then in a way that is the nice thing about dressage. Even if you are an amateur, but you have a nice horse with 3 good gaits, and you can train and you can ride this horse, yeah, and train it all the way to Grand Prix. Yeah, depending, and it doesn't matter what scores you get, but you can teach the horse everything. Yeah, so that's the good part about dressage, and that's why dressage, if you translate it, is called training. Yeah, it's not. So that's important. That's what shows then in the 3 different age groups that we have in the second part of the IBOP. Yeah, that the horse shows the ability, yeah, to collect. Yeah, shows the ability to be sensitive for the leg. Yeah, but those are all very easy things to do. Yeah, if your horse is honest on the bit, yeah, and good connection, yeah, and honest on the leg, then all those exercises are very, very minimum.
And in the end, I think it's really important that you don't have to present your horse in a flawless test. It's not a dressage test for which you will get a mark for every exercise. You will get marks for the gaits and the way it is in balance and the suppleness and the rideability. So if you have to help it a bit or it's looking once, it isn't a huge problem. And you should try to help the horse to show the most of its natural ability and not be really steady and really good on every letter and doing the exercise for a 10. We want to see the suppleness, we want to see the balance, the posture, and we want to see the quality of the gaits. First trot a bit and we do the walk later?
Yeah, that's fine.
Otherwise it's such a long time walking, you have to wake him up again. Oh, not her, that I like. Horse is hot as the weather. Okay, Willy, with the dressage IBOP, we judge the 3 gaits. They go twice. Then we have the suppleness, that's the point the balance and posture, it's combined. The rideability and the talent, and that ends up to 100 again, and you have to have 75 to get the IBOP predicate and to become Keur, if you are eligible Keur. If you get 80 or more, you will count for the MAM, for the prestatie predicate. And if you got 85 or more, you will get in the magazine. Yeah. You have to make a difference, huh? And it's not when you get 90 that you get cake home. We haven't done that yet. Okay, in the trot, Willy, for you, if you start looking at the trot of a young horse, what's the first thing you're looking for?
First thing I'm looking for in the horse? No, training. The training part, yeah. On watching the horse go.
Watching a horse go.
Okay,
if
yeah.
you decide if you want to go do it for the IBOP, or if it's good enough for you to work with and to produce.
Yeah. I mean, what you first look for is the relaxation, the balance in the horse, yeah, and I'm always very important is the connection to the bit, so that the horse follows the hand of the rider. So you can see both these horses, yeah, have a very good natural balance. They're very honest on the bit, yeah, and they have a relaxed frame, a relaxed attitude, yeah. They're self-motivated, yeah. You see, they're not pushing him to keep him going, yeah, and they both both show the maximum length in the neck, and the maximum length in the neck again develops the maximum length of the maximum length in the top line, develops the maximum length in the stride, yeah, and these are, yeah, very balanced movers, yeah, and a lot of times, yeah, maybe for dressage to say, I want to see a bigger front leg, yeah, but on the end, that is not the most important, yeah, most important is you can see that the hind legs are really tracking up, yeah, the horses are carrying himself, the neck is the highest point, the pole is the highest point, yeah, and horses are moving up in the middles. So here you have two very nice, balanced horses working honest on the bit.
I agree, and if we look at the hind leg, we look at the moment that the hind leg is under the body and the hind leg is away from the body, and you want it to be under the body for a longer time than being back. And you see with those two horses that they have the ability to bring the hind leg underneath the body, so in the future, when they gain more strength, they can carry themselves even more. Maybe we could try, if you could play a little bit with the activity, maybe lengthen the strides a little bit and then go back again. But every time you go forward, make sure that you keep all the other things in line. So don't do too much at once, build it up. Give the horses the time to keep their balance, to take it with them, and then go forward. And maybe do the rising trot to make it a little bit easier for her in the back. That's good, and then go back again. Both of you did a pretty long side. I always like it with young horses to make it a little bit shorter in the time that you do it, because it's for them to keep it going and going is pretty difficult. Shorter time lengthening. Make sure that you feel that they will go, they will keep their balance, they will keep the rhythm, and then when they react, yeah, and go back again. Said you did a good job. You gave the reaction, you kept everything together, that doesn't matter. Good. Inner leg, little bit bending. And then go back again. And then every day or every week, you ask a couple of strides more. Get the most about what they offer you and don't ask more. And then for me, I don't know how you look at that, Willy, but for me the corners are really important. I like the long side, it's the same with free moving. But I want to see what they do when they're in the corners. What the hind leg does, if it takes the weight a bit more, and if they turn and come back, what will happen then? Could you make a transition to the walk? And a transition to the walk gives a lot of information, because you want the hind leg to stay on like an engine, stay under, and then walk active. And they both did that in a really nice way. They kept thinking forward and gaining the weight.
Yeah, and the forward has nothing to do with speed. Yeah, so a lot of transitions is good, and corners are very important to check if your horse is forward. And forward is just the reaction you get off your leg. Yeah, when you like to ride those seamless transitions. Yeah, where you just feel you get the reaction from the leg, but the horse doesn't speed up. So then the withers come up and you maintain the balance. Yeah, and then you don't run your horse off your feet. Yeah.
Okay, then we have the walk. In the second part of the IBOP in the Netherlands, we always do the walk a little bit in between to make sure that they're relaxed enough. And we always ask them to do walk on a longer rein to make sure that the influence of the rider on the bridle is a little bit gone, and they really need to march towards length through the body and try to keep a little bit connection so you can help the horse lengthening the frame but still making sure that it's supple over the back and gain the most over track that is capable. In the end, for me, the walk, really the rhythm is the most important part.
Yeah, the rhythm, yeah, the pure 4-beat, of course, is very important. Yeah, and it's also important that the walk is even front and back. Yeah, if you just look at the overstrap, yeah, then if you have a horse with a short front leg, yeah, then the front leg is not going to go as far forward, so it's a lot easier for the hind leg to step over the footprint from his front leg. Yeah, so you need to see that the reach of the front leg, yeah, and the reach from the hind leg has to be even, and then you still need to have the overstep, and then you're also not going to have the problem that when you ask for more collected walk, that it becomes lateral. Yeah, but if the front legs are too short, yeah, then the front legs get shorter and shorter, and the hind legs get nowhere to go, and then you have a chance to get the lateral walk, or you have too big of a walk and that they can't collect. So it is not the length of the stride that is important, it is the balance. Yeah, and then the use of the body and the neck, and the use of the neck, yeah.
And to be honest, I'd rather have a walk that is always clear, always active, has enough power, and is not huge. Because that's a walk I can make piaffe. And have a really huge walk with less activity and less power, it's going to be a difficult one. So maybe for the young horse competitions, it isn't always the really big walk that they want to see, especially at the World Championships. But for the future, for me, that's a really functional walk. And of course, if we look at the technique, you want the hind leg to bend, to go forward. You want to go through the body, and you want the front leg to have good reach and shoulder freedom. And you count that in when you give a mark. So it's not only about is it clear and is it big. There's also a certain technique in the legs, mechanics that you want to see, and that will higher or lower the mark. But with an IBOP, when it's not clear, a 6 is a high mark. It needs to be clear. Could you pick up the reins a bit and make sure that you keep the activity and you keep it through the back? And then it's still really nice that the hind leg goes forward to the front leg, and you can see the V coming under the body and always clear in the rhythm. And what the first horse did, the Hennessy, that she starts trotting a little bit. It's not a problem in the IBOP. In the dressage test, you will get a 4. And with us, we're saying, okay, she's active, she wants to go. Try to relax again, because it's about the quality. And if she does it all the time, you take it with you in a point. But she can do it once or twice. It's not a problem. We can trot again, and then if it's possible, keep a little bit distance in between, and we can do left canter. That mare makes the canter different as well from this one, that's true. Okay, we'll do a little short canter on the right side. We don't have to do it as long as the left side. But we always want to see two sides of canter. There can be a huge difference in the canter. Especially with young horses, we hope with the older horses that train so well that the difference disappears a bit. But when they're still a bit crook, you see a huge difference. And sometimes, judging the IBOP, you will get like a 6 for the left canter and 8 for the right canter. And you have to take like an average, because it's not sure if it will be the 8 or the 6 will still be there on the other side. And it mostly has to do with being crooked, still not in a real straight, natural balance.
So for that case, I think they always should take the best,
Let them trot and then
the best score.
little canter on the right side, please. You want to take the best score?
Yeah,
You're going to forgive them?
yeah, of course. If it's a young horse and he canters a little bit, and you know that it's because the horse canters a little bit crooked one way, but the other way he's straighter, and you get then a better score.
And what if he never gets straight?
Yeah, then the canter should not be different. Then they're both the same.
To be honest, if I see it in a test, I will work on it in the second part. And if I can get an improvement, I will go up. But if there's no room to improve it, if it will stay the same, I will take the average. Sorry, Willy.
Okay. So is this canter not
Make him
better?
a judge. Go to him. Then we get to suppleness. It's something that goes through 3 gates. You want it in the walk, you want it marching through the body, you want it in the trot, you want it swinging, and you want the same in the canter. The balance and the posture, for sure, in the walk you got balance, but not as much as you have in the trot and in the canter. What I also take in that mark is it able to go back and forward a bit? Is it able to make a transition? What happens then? And then we have the rideability, and the rideability sometimes is not easy to follow for people around. Because in the IBOP we get horses, some have been trained for a long time, and some have been trained for a really short time. And we have to see if they're under the saddle for 4 or 5 or 6 weeks. That one was a bit spooked in the beginning. That's not a problem, they can do that. But when the rider gives the instruction, it needs to listen. And if it doesn't listen really good, you take it with you. And if it keeps turning around and saying, not my day, don't ask any questions, then you're really going to do something with it. If we're judging and if we're thinking that the horse is not ready to do the test because it's too green, we will always say, no marks today. In the end, we want to be able to give the horse marks instead of judging it and making it look bad. If it's not a good horse, it will get lower marks. But if there's something about the timing that isn't right, or something in the body that enables the horse to show itself, you need to say, not today, come back later. And in the States, that's difficult for us to do, but we still do it, because later means a year later. In the Netherlands, they come back like in a month or in 2 and they can try it again. But in the end, the points are on paper. And if it's not fair, it won't get it. But that's our decision. And that's, yeah, sometimes it works and sometimes people are like, we want to have the points.
Okay, so I think both these horses were very well presented, yeah, for 3-4-year-old horses. Yeah, if you show them like this in IBOP, yeah, you will get the horse has 100% is able to show his natural talent and ability, yeah, and it's all based upon the balance and just going on the bit, yeah, and the rest, yeah, so it's all, it's not that the horse has to know that much, you know, it is just the relaxation, balance, and acceptance of the contact, and then the rest is natural ability.
And it's not that it needs to go around like an auction horse.
No.
With pressure on and made. We want to see it that natural. And in the end, for the breeder, showing it natural will get the information the horses really like. And you can fool us in putting pressure on and making more, but in the end, you're only fooling yourselves. Thank you for presenting the horse.
Yeah, very good.